Hello there! It's high time that we do some previewing and perhaps a couple of predictions. By the way, I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and welcome to World Cup Daily. Some bad news to start, however. Steven has retired already due to contractual disputes. Here, take a look, because I tried, man, but he just refused. He seems unsure of the whole situation now. It's as if he knows that he's being exploited. He doesn't seem to trust the system now. What do we do in this situation? He wanted nothing to do with it. But anyway, thanks for joining and get ready for Uruguay versus France. And remember, these are just my opinions, and I'm keen to hear yours below. Here's a great start to this matchup. This headline from Marca, which says, Luis Suarez says that Antoine Griezmann doesn't know how it feels to be Uruguayan. He said this because there was a special article on FIFA's official website that spoke about how Griezmann has an affinity to Uruguay because of all the Uruguayans he's played with, both at Real Sociedad and at Atletico Madrid. He met Jose Jimenez and Godin at the airport once wearing an Uruguay top and drinking some mate, a traditional South American drink. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Suarez's sentiment that Griezmann doesn't know how it feels to be Uruguayan. In fact, Mr. Suarez, if I may, I would take it even further and say that nobody on this planet knows how it feels to be Uruguayan except for those that are Uruguayan. However, if I may venture a guess as to how they are feeling right now, it probably feels pretty damn good, with a slight hint of apprehension going into this matchup with France. Everyone knows about Uruguay's defensive block, one of the best in world football, if not the best right now alongside maybe Brazil. Godin is staking his claim as one of the best center backs in the world, while Laxalt has impressed me majorly in this tournament, mainly when he had the left flank completely shut down against Portugal. This is a guy who wasn't the first choice at the beginning of the tournament. In the midfield, Bentancur and Torreira have been looking excellent, and their attack is nothing short of excellent. However, it has been confirmed that Cavani, the hero for Uruguay against Portugal, will not be playing in this match. Now, I know that the French defense isn't locked up tighter than Cavani's kit, per se, but I do fear for the Uruguayan attack with Suarez as their sole striker. Suarez thrives when he has someone to share the attention with, and someone that he can benefit from feeding or being fed by. Weird visual, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, the French defense I alluded to earlier couldn't really be blamed too much for one or maybe even two of the goals they conceded against Argentina. Namely though, the Di Maria screamer. But going forward, though they have labored at times, they were flying in the second half against Argentina. With the form Mbappe is in, he could torch Uruguay just as he did their South American neighbors, Argentina. These two met in the 2010 and 2002 World Cups, both a 0-0 draw. In fact, in the last 5 meetings between these two, there has been 2 red cards and 1 goal. However, I don't think this one will be a 0-0, but I do think it's a 1-1. Kylian Mbappe will score the first, with Godin scoring from a set piece to equalize. In the shootout, France bottles it, Uruguay through to the semis. Hey, speaking of past meetings from 2002, Brazil and Belgium last met at that iteration of the World Cup, with the Brazilians winning thanks to Rivaldo and Ronaldo. Yeah boys. By the way, did you hear that Maradona admitted Ronaldo would have been the best of all time if he didn't get a crazy number of injuries? I might agree from what I've seen of the old Ronaldo. But anyways, this is the hype matchup that all hype boys have been looking forward to, myself included, actually. Well, once it was confirmed that they were playing each other after Belgium rose from the ashes against Japan. Speaking of which, as I've highlighted in some of my other videos, let's start with Belgium's defense and how much of a problem it was for them against Japan. The Japanese were able to burn them down the flanks on many occasions by simply pushing their wide men out really wide, thus negating the usefulness of the 3 center backs. If Belgium play with 3 at the back against Brazil, I do fear for them a little bit, unless Meunier and Carrasco suddenly become extremely diligent with their tracking back. But for me, it would be far too easy for Brazil to just push Neymar and Willian forward and force Meunier and Carrasco back anyways. I think 4 at the back would be a better setup for Belgium, but we'll have to see what Martinez goes with. But Belgium's attack isn't too bad either, with Lukaku still having scored 4 goals, though against nations that don't really quell his flat track bully status just yet. I think he's still quite capable of having a big match against Brazil, but he's going to be in tough against a very focused Thiago Silva and João Miranda partnership that has been at the center of Brazil's 19 clean sheets from 25 matches since Tite has been in charge. That is impressive. Neymar, while cringy at times, has been involved in a goal per game in his last 3, or 4 goals in 3 if you count his shot pass as an assist for Firmino against Mexico. And I think that Firmino should start this match, and if he does, I think that Belgium are going to be in real trouble with Willian, Neymar, and Firmino coming at them full tilt. Firmino and Gabriel Jesus both have experience against all of these Belgian Premier League center backs, by the way, so those will be interesting battles. And against Willian as well, lots of familiar faces. While I want to believe in this golden generation for Belgium, I simply don't trust them. Yes, they have scored more goals at this tournament than any other team with 12. They're definitely going up against what has been an immovable object in this tournament, with Brazil's tournament leading best defense having just conceded once. Tied with Uruguay, I think, actually. For that reason, though, I think that Brazil is going to take this one 2-0. It's going to be a tight 2-0, though, with Belgium being the ones pushing too many men forward at the end of this match this time and getting punished for it. A la how they punished Japan. Quick Brazilian counter. And now we go to Samara, which sounds like a city in an RPG or an anime or the girl from the Ring, I guess. Anyways, England will be taking on Sweden in the undercard to the Saturday afternoon fight featuring the host nation. But we'll get to the host nation later. I know that I'm the one that's supposed to be doing all of the talking, but how do you guys feel about England in this tournament? For me, they had a great showing against Panama, probably the worst team at this World Cup. Okay, definitely the worst team at this World Cup. And they were wasteful against Tunisia, lost the battle of the substitutes against Belgium, and then squeezed past Colombia with a penalty, and then via penalties. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that England hasn't been that convincing so far. Their young attack is exciting at times, though with someone like Raheem Sterling in there constantly making the wrong decisions for his final ball, it seems wasteful. Dele Alli hasn't really gotten started at this tournament. Jesse Lingard is being Jesse Lingard, which is a flash of quality here and there, etc. With the main bright spot, undoubtedly their defense and Harry Kane up front. But I mean, even saying that their defense is a bright spot is kind of a stretch, as England are the only one of the quarterfinalists that have failed to keep a single clean sheet in this tournament. Sweden, on the other hand, have impressed me, and I'm not saying that they are a joy to watch as a neutral, because that would be a massive stretch, but they have been effective for the last couple of years, including their qualification, where they scored 26 and only conceded 9 goals, securing a playoff spot above the likes of the Netherlands, where they were the pillow that suffocated Italy's World Cup hopes, beating them 1-0 over 2 legs. Then, in this World Cup, they exposed Mexico with a 3-0 win, got a relatively comfortable win over Korea, and should have at least had a draw against Germany had Boateng been sent off earlier as he should have, and if they had just kept the damn ball in the German corner. They only got past Switzerland via a deflected goal, but that would be harsh on Sweden, considering their defensive strength they exhibited. Remember, Switzerland whipped in 25 crosses, all of which were dealt with. In fact, in their last 6 matches, they have kept a clean sheet in 5 of them. And Sweden's record against England is a decent one, with only 1 loss in their last 8 competitive matches against them. My friend and I were talking the other day about how whenever these two meet, it's usually a dud of a game. And honestly, I think it's going to be a dud once again with, and here's my fun prediction of the round, Sweden coming out on top 2-1, with Forsberg finally finding his shooting boots. I know he scored versus Switzerland, but it was fortunate, to say the least. This time, he's gonna bang one in. That won't be deflected. Croatia versus Russia is the next matchup, everyone. Red, white, and blue on red, white, and blue violence. Russia, the lowest ranked team coming into this tournament, have been propelled forward by the support of the nation, calmly absorbing pressure and allowing Spain to tiki-taka themselves to death. In the group stage, they show that they can score goals. Though, with every match that has followed their opening 2 against the lightweights, Saudi Arabia and Egypt, Russia's scoring touch has waned significantly, losing 3-0 to Uruguay and requiring a penalty to make it to penalties against Spain. Mind you, they only conceded down to a freak goal against Spain, but it would have probably been a penalty anyway. Croatia, on the other hand, absolutely burned up their group, finishing with a perfect 3 wins from 3 record, and then going on to face a tricky Denmark side in the round of 16. This match wasn't as dominant for Croatia, as Denmark did well to make it not easy for them to break out, and when they did, made it very difficult for them to be broken down. It wasn't until extra time that Croatia started to look like themselves again, and in the dying embers of the match, Ante Rebic rounded Schmeichel and looked as if he was about to end Denmark, but he was taken out from behind and a penalty was awarded, which Schmeichel saved. Luckily for the Croatians, karma was on their side in this situation after they had what would have been a definite goal taken away from them by a terrible challenge. Now, if Croatia can have their way against Russia as they did with some of the other teams in their group stage matches, then it would spell trouble for Russia. But if you look at the other teams in their group, Argentina, Iceland, and Nigeria, besides perhaps Iceland, none of those teams had a decent defense. And even with Iceland, they were only effective in one of their matches versus Argentina. This is a real stream of consciousness preview, but I'm not saying that Croatia had an easy group, but they were certainly up against some not so inspiring defenses. And Russia proved against Spain that they are more than capable of defending well and making the match absolutely horrible for their opposition. I think against Croatia, it will be more of the same from Russia defensively, with the hopes that Golovin and Zyuba, amongst others, Zagoev might be back, can provide them with some offense via the counter. So, with all that said, I think that the quarterfinals is where the buck stops for the hosts, as their great run will come to an end thanks to a 1-0 win by the Croatians. 2-0? I'll stick with 1-0. Okay. Those are my picks. So according to them, we will have a semi-final of Brazil versus Uruguay and another featuring Croatia versus Sweden. Maybe totally whack, maybe totally right, maybe partially right. We'll have to see. How do you think the quarterfinals are going to go? Be sure to comment so I can see where your head's at. And if you enjoyed the content, then be sure to drop a like to let me know and subscribe if you're new around here. Once again, I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll see you tomorrow for either the Brazil versus Belgium watch along or World Cup Daily. Peace.